Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 42 of Takedown, and this one is titled Slave Contracts. Your lips touched his as he closed the distance between the two of you, and your heart rate spiked the minute his tongue touched yours. Wow, I can actually feel his tongue when he's kissing me, you thought, analysing the little details of the game a little too closely as you slid your tongue against his. Taken by the moment, and wanting to feel as much as you could, you gently shut your eyes and shifted your body closer to his. Magata, feeling you move closer to him, removed his hand from yours and wrapped it around your side, deepening the contact before scooping his arm around your back and lifting you up to sit in his lap. Naturally, you straddled him, both thighs being exposed as you sat down in his lap facing him. "You're very distracting, Yin," Magata whispered in a husky voice, feeling safe enough to use your name in-game. "I know I shouldn't get too excited about your thighs, but all I've been wanting to do ever since you got your dancer outfit is to touch them." "I'm not stopping you," he replied with a smirk as you pressed your forehead to his and rubbed your nose on his. "I'd like to see how much I can feel in this game." "I've heard that you can feel a lot in game," he replied with a mischievous chuckle. "Don't ask how I know. I don't want to give myself away." Have you, You became a little flustered as you sat back and placed your hands on his shoulders, averting your eyes shyly. Have I what?" he prompted. Your face was starting to show your embarrassment. Suddenly he caught on. Oh, no, nothing like that. I haven't done that," he said quickly, raising his hands from your thighs in surrender. No, I have spoken to people who have, though, that's how I know." "Oh, I see," you said with a relieved sigh. "Not that I mind. I'm not the type to get jealous over exes." "Well, my ex does still play this game, but I haven't seen her for a while. It was a mutual breakup, but we don't need to be concerned with that right now." He smiled gently, placing his hands back on your thighs. "Anyway, back to in-game intimacy. There's a consent box that needs to be ticked by each player so that there are no non-consensual acts in here." "Good," you replied. "That's a great addition considering how lifelike it is in here." "Exactly," Magata replied. "Although there's a bit of an uproar at the moment about the whole slave contracts that was added." "What's a slave contract?" you asked curiously, settling into his lap, still facing him with arms draped over his shoulders. "Oh, it was a feature that was added about a year or two ago. It made a much larger divide between the top players and the bottom players, because if you were in a slave contract, you couldn't level up as quickly. Although, having said that, some argue that they had been able to level up far quicker because they were a slave to someone who was a higher level and thus got more shared points in a shorter time frame." "Why was it added?" you asked curiously. I don't know exactly why, but sometimes gaming companies add things just to try a new approach." "Can anyone be a slave?" you asked. No. You can only be slaved if you're a lower level. I think it's from level 20 down, but most are lower than level 10 because they need the points quickly. When you're in a contract with someone, it's their duty to look after you." "Can you have multiple slaves?" "Yes, and some do, and they usually have multiples if they are a higher level merchant moving expensive items from one level to another. They put the expensive items in their slave's inventory to keep it safe in case they duel someone and lose. If their items are with someone else, it can't be taken from them." "Oh, that's smart," he said with a chuckle. "Is the slave contracting consensual?" Sometimes no. But it would be a stupid idea to have a slave that despises you because you have to look after them, and they get some of your experience points every time you fight someone, a monster, or a boss. But it does happen, especially in the case of merchants moving items that I just described. They catch lower level players, use them to move items, and then let them go. I can see why people would be against it," you mused. "But then again, I can see how it would be helpful if you had someone, a friend, that you wanted to take care of that was a lower level. Just contract them so they can't be touched." "Yes, but you're a nice person, so you'd be thinking only of the good," Magata replied, leaning forward to rub your nose with his. "I'm trying to be better," you whispered softly, looking at him bashfully. "Wait, how did we get onto this topic?" "Slave contracts?" he asked, tilting his head, then looking up into the corner of his vision to think. Was it due to talk of intimacy?" His palms rubbed your thighs, slowly inching up towards the crease at the top of where your legs joined your body. "I think it was," he whispered back. Good, because I'm about to make a contract with the owner of these legs. He leered cheekily. Your insides blushed and your heart rate spiked, causing you to release a nervous giggle right before your and his form suddenly disappeared from the game. With a start, you woke up on the table, back in your lab, and whipped your head to the side to try and work out what had happened. Oh, welcome back, Hansu said with a devious smirk on his face, grey fringe falling across one eye. Glad you could both be here today. I hope I wasn't interrupting anything. Did you pull us out a game? You asked him, confused and a little embarrassed at how you and Magata had been sitting in-game. Yes, I watched the interview with Free online, and then it had been a good half hour after that and you hadn't returned, so I pulled you out to discuss some things, he said, sitting back down in his chair and leaning back in it, a relaxed yet coy smirk pulling at his lips. You bit your lip nervously and glanced across at Mirio, who had just started to sit up. I always forget that there's a live drone feeding the RFO interviews into the web, Mirio said. So what did you think of Free, Hansu? And there ends chapter 42. Stay tuned for chapter 43 coming tomorrow.